They never in a million years thought we'd be back in power. And they need to learn what populist nationalist power is on the receiving end. I mean investigations, trials, and then incarceration. And I'm just talking about the media. Should the media, Mike, where's the viceroy? Should the media be included in the vast criminal conspiracy against President Trump and his followers? Should Andrew Weissman on MSNBC and Rachel Maddow and all of them, we want all your emails, all your text messages, everything you did, you colluded in a conspiracy with Merrick Garland, Matthew Colangelo, Lisa Monaco, and Jack Smith.
Every message between Steve Bannon, Trump's chief White House strategist, and Jeffrey Epstein are linkable because if we take the content of one of these messages from Steve Bannon and plug it into the search, you can find an iMessage record of Jeffrey Epstein sending it. And on many occasions, presenting ideas that feel like orders that end up becoming the real decisions of the Trump administration. For example, push for a new defense secretary. Jim Mattis was replaced 10 days later. Trump talking with Barack about get me 3 names. Fed or Treasury, and then Epstein lists the names of suggestions for appointments. This one's really in your face. 10th anniversary of the Lehman Brothers bankruptcy. Returns if you bought stocks that closed that day and held to today. Steve Bannon's response, and wages flat. So rich people are turning their money into more money while working people do not see more money as compensation for their increased productivity. It is their intention to run the economy this way. Epstein also seemingly paid Steve Bannon's medical expenses when he was sick. This is a very close relationship. And another strategy from Jeffrey Epstein to Steve Bannon, careful about the racist part. You seem to accept the characterization. Iraq, Libya are disasters. Easy to blow up the place, but what comes next? So I would stress the working man gets to have hope again. Job security, safety. They literally manufactured the idea of populism to distract from the fact that pedophile elites were running the government.
Think how relentless we were in having this man's back that he came back and had the sweeping victory. Against all odds. Now we'll be in control of state power. Now we will be in control of state power. We will never, ever, 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 ever rest until we've gotten to the bottom of this for this republic, or we're not a republic. It can never be allowed. This is a black mark on the history of this country. What's happened is clearly, and this is why it could never be DeSantis. This is why it can never be Nikki Haley. This is why it can never be Chris Christie. It was all a joke and all a waste of time, and that $400 million. And the people that did that don't understand the moment of history and will never understand the moment of history. You can't get them up. You understood it. The deplorables, the garbage, you understood it. You understood it. Do you understand how powerful that is? You understood it from the beginning. You understood it. That's when the history of this age is written. It'll be Trump and it'll be this movement. It'll be you. The rest of us will be forgotten. I mean, we'll be footnotes. Tucker, myself, Elon, Vivek, Hannity, all of it. This is a hinge of history right here.
President Trump gets he gets to pick the picks. Here's my point. My point is that they're embedded special interests in the imperial capital. Some are more embedded than others.
I am banned on every platform. I'm banned in perpetuity on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitter, Spotify. I can go through. I'm banned. The show is the number 1 or number 2 podcast in the country, essentially. If you look at Pod Save America, we're generally back of them. I'm banned everywhere. I was debanked after January, after President Trump went back to Mar-a-Lago. All my banks fired me. All my law firms fired me. I had big name law firms, all fired me. All my credit cards were canceled. I went to federal prison, right? I've seen the power of the state. And you know what I say to them? Go yourself, right? We're going to, because you have to. Otherwise, they're out to crush you. Don't think I'm any different than any of you guys. You raise your head up against the apparatus, and they're going to do the exact same thing to you. This is why I think there's much more commonality. The potential fusion I think we do have is much deeper behind the scenes and much deeper as we get back to actually what is populist, what is economic nationalism, how do you defend the little guy?
And I will tell you right now, as God is my witness, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included. They're not going to stop. They're getting more and more and more radical. And we have to counter that. And what do we have to counter it with? We have to counter it with more action, more intense action, more urgency. We're burning daylight. If you look across every aspect of this, we have to codify what President Trump has done by executive order, right? We have to codify it. And people say, well, they're just going to be messing bills going to pass Senate. We got to put aside these structural barriers and get on with it. President Trump today gave to the Senate when they came over for breakfast, even Lindsey Graham, some of the guys he liked, and some of these institutions, I understand this is a very tough decision to make. And you're going to see some people in the conservative movement that not in a million years, because I talked to him today, quite frankly, I had Hawley on the show this morning, Josh Hawley, and he's talking about it. And I'm trying to play the institution. Well, they called me up this afternoon and said, let's go through the 10 reasons we need to do it. And these are heavy hitters on what I would call the constitutional, limited government constitutionalist in our movement. And they're about to come out over the next couple of days and make this argument because it said, look, we have to understand that if we don't take this to the maximum, a maximalist strategy now with a sense of urgency, and in doing this, seize the institutions, if we don't do that now, we're going to lose this chance forever. Because you're never going to have another Trump.
Like clockwork, as soon as Steve Bannon's wildly influential position as an Epstein conduit for the Trump administration became public knowledge in the Epstein files, Trump's DOJ told the Supreme Court that his criminal convictions related to January 6th and election interference should be vacated.
Lock them up and throw away the key. In the White House right now, with the world on fire, they're spending the time on blanket preemptive pardons. Blanket preemptive pardons. Here's the good news, folks. Here's the good news. We've got these rats cornered. If they give the pardons, the Democratic Party is finished. Amy Klobuchar and those people are telling you that. If they give, we dare you to give blanket preemptive pardons to anybody. If it happens, the Democratic Party is over. And if it doesn't happen, you're all going to prison. That's what the Chinese call a win-win, right?
The Trump administration is full of secrets, and their deliberate deception and cover-up of the Epstein files show how far they're willing to go to protect the wealthiest and most powerful men in the world. But one thing that isn't a secret is that they're doing it. We might not know all the details, but we do know broadly that these people can't be trusted and that billionaires are utterly depraved. If the administration were smart, which it's not, it would have thrown Donald Trump under the bus by now. But in protecting Trump, they're implicating the entire Republican apparatus. It's hard to imagine the Republican Party ever fully recovering from the public knowing that the Trump administration was essentially handpicked by Jeffrey Epstein, who's working with Steve Bannon to create a global fake populist movement to benefit the richest people in the world. Anybody on either side of the aisle who believed the lies should know that they have been had, and they've been complicit in allowing them to succeed. Hopefully, as more people wake up to how depraved and disgusting this administration is, we can start to fight their worst excesses and plan for a future where even billionaires, sultans, princes, and presidents face punishment for their crimes.